Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple of projects that I have going on right now. This project right here that I'm in the middle of the drawings for a mural that's going to be happening in Uptown Toledo. Um, Here's the drawings of the wall, and you can see the measurements here. Um, there's three windows in the building, two tall windows and one shorter window. And so the trick to this design was to figure out how to incorporate these windows into the mural design. So what I've come up with, this is behind a Cuban restaurant and a Mexican restaurant. So what we're going to do is on the right side here, this is going to be the streets of Cuba, and this window here and this window here are these tall windows here and here. And then this one right here is the shorter window that you see right there. So in Cuba, there's a street which has these brightly colored kind of Art Deco design buildings, and they're in this case, I'm going to show them as 2 stories. I think this one's actually 3 stories, or maybe even 4, on the real streets of Cuba. This one is bright yellow. This one's a two-tone blue that you see here, pastels. And then this one is really a two-tone pink, but I kind of like this almost a bright red. This is the second color here, the pink. So we'll see how that comes out, how we end up doing that. Over here, we're going to put a vintage 1950s vehicle, which you see a lot on the streets of Cuba. They use them for taxi cabs and what have you. And then on the left side, if I can just move this out of the way here, on the left side of the wall, this isn't in yet, but this restaurant is Cuban and Mexican. So from here over here to the right, this is going to be the Cuban side, and from here to the left, this is going to be a Mexican coastline. There's a walkway, a boardwalk, in many cities in Mexico along the coastline there called a Malecón, and that's going to be curved right in here. Some buildings back in this area in the distance, and then the ocean coming in here with some rocks and so on. Right here, I think right here and right here, there are a couple of lamp posts that come up that are really neat. These upper floors are going to have some metal railings and doors and windows and so on up in that area as well. The architecture is really beautiful. Down in this area, we're going to have some people on the streets, and then right here probably I'm going to put a sign here, one of those signs with arrows pointing to the right Cuba, pointing to the left Mexico, and then down in here all kinds of people enjoying the beach and the waterfront. So that's a project. This is 30 feet high, 58 feet wide, and it's going to be on the back patio of a restaurant here in Toledo called Poco Loco. So originally I took an image of this photograph image and superimposed it on the wall and submitted that to our local arts commission for approval. We have to get approval to get a permit from the city, and the arts commission is who administers that. So I submitted that. They want some more detailed information, so I decided to do this detailed drawing. And then I think what I'll do is I'll do prints of this drawing after the mural's completed, and maybe we'll raise a little bit of money that way selling prints of the drawing, and then maybe somebody special will get the original, or maybe we'll hang it inside the restaurant. That'd be neat. So this is a project that I was hoping to get in place this month of July 2017, but we're at the end of the month now, and now my target is to get this completed by, we have an art walk every month in the summer here in town, and so my goal is to get this completed by August 20th. Everything's in place. We've already done the fundraising. We already have even some of the paints purchased. We've got volunteers and so on. So it's going to be a really cool project when it kicks off. We're just held up with a little bit of, maybe you call it politics, maybe you call it bureaucracy, maybe you call it protecting the community, however you want to see it. The big thing in doing murals is that they want to see the design because there's a differentiation between art and advertising. So if you've got a lot of advertising, whether it's political or for a business, or it's considered signage, and there's different permits in every city for signage and so on. So that's the first project I want to show you here. The second project that I'm working on, and I'm working on it right now, is actually this. If you can tell, this is a 4 foot by 5 foot canvas. It's obvious to me right now that it's the Golden Gate Bridge. I learned how to paint rocks doing this painting, so that's something I played around with for quite a while. And the bridge, all of the orange, the entire Golden Gate Bridge is done in what they call Golden Gate Bridge orange. Mine's a little brighter than that, but go figure, that's how my art always is. But this was all done with the squeeze bottle that you see right here, and I still have some work to do on it, and I'll even point out a mistake that I made here where I drug some of the orange into the sky and I had to paint over that. So I'm going to have to add new sky. I'll probably put some sort of a ship or something out there in the water, and then in the lower left we're going to put fog that typically rolls in under the Golden Gate Bridge and sometimes engulfs the Golden Gate Bridge. So this is a picture that the original request from the customer was that I do an Ansel Adams image in color. And if you're not familiar with Ansel Adams, he's a very famous photographer. Nearly everything that he does is in black and white. And so my customer wants an Ansel Adams style image, but in the bright colors that my art is known for. And this actually was not done by Ansel Adams. This particular image, the source image for this, it was done by one of Ansel Adams' assistants, who's also a photographer. So, and I should know his name right now and give him some credit, but I don't know his name. Up on the wall here, this is kind of some of the pieces that I've got in progress. None of these pieces back here are commission pieces, so they get kind of a they take kind of a back seat in the development process. So you see the Marilyn Monroe piece there, that's for my daughter. I just need to fix the eyes on that, and that'll be for her. The piece in the back, the blue, dark blue piece, that's, if you can't tell, that's a world map done in abstract, and I'm just painting in all the water all the way around in a metallic blue. That's probably 75. I'd say the Marilyn Monroe is probably 90% complete, and the world map is probably 75% complete. This skyline here is a Toledo skyline. I do a lot of those, as some of you are aware. Behind there is a Times Square piece, and you can see to the right there, I've just got a lot of people to finish putting in. These pieces over here are primarily completed. The piece in the back is something called In the Beginning. It's a space type painting. But unfortunately, when I moved studios, that got a hole punched in it, and I'm not really sure how I can repair it, so I'm going to have to do some research on that. And then you see a guitar piece there, that's entitled Rock and Roll 1965 with the yellow and orange. Right next to that on the right is a piece, black and white checkerboard, that's the same style guitar. It's covered up by the other painting, but that's Rock and Roll 1955. And then you see a few small paintings there, the Gene Simmons and the Paul Stanley, the Christmas tree, and so on. And then one of the rainy day images that I did with a blue frame, although I made a mistake on that piece, and so I've got to make some repairs on it. if you can't tell, the background is upside down in the frame, so I've got to rework that. So anyways, those are a couple of the projects that are happening. Around on this side, this is a piece here that also 4 foot by 5 foot canvas, and this was actually a color image, and just the opposite, the client here requested that I do a black and white image of color source image. And this is I would say this is about 75% done, maybe 65% done. I've never done anything in black and white, so I'm learning a lot of techniques here. I'm pretty proud of the bricks, the way they came out. If you want to see some up-close detail, they look pretty realistic, I think. And so we've got to put some people in. There's a bench there. There's a man on the left side there that's leaning against the building, smoking a cigarette, kind of an iconic look. And so that's going on. Over here's my desk, a couple pieces around it, and then over here there's a couple pieces that I've done. But at my desk, what you'll see is some other work that I'm doing. And again, these are other projects. This is a website that I'm in the middle of doing an upgrade for this client, and so I'll do web design as well as the paintings that you're used to seeing. I'll do logo design. I'll do one of the things, if you want to see here real quick, he probably doesn't care. This website was getting about 100 to 150 visitors a month, and what we did here was I rebuilt some of the pages for him, and you can see this is today is July 31st, so we've moved that up to about 500 pages or 500 views a month. Now he did some advertising and some other things, so what I did in this case is I built 10 individual pages, what I call doorway pages, and each of those doorway pages is a duplicate of the front page of the website, but it's a separate doorway into the website rather than people who come to the front page. And then by building those 10 individual pages, what happens is I then market those on Google, and I can identify here from the stats how much of that traffic came in through those unique doorway pages versus any other advertising that he's done, or articles. He had an article in the local newspaper and things like that. So if you look, what we did here is each one of these that says Lake, this one's Clark Lake, 35 of the visitors came into the website on that page. Put-in-Bay, 35 of the visitors, Lake Columbia, 34, and so on. So 30 to 40 times, so let's say 35 times 10 pages. So out of that 500 views that he had this month, about 350 of them came in through the unique pages that I developed for him. And truth is, he was at about 150 page views a month initially. And so you can see that the increase was a direct result of that, of those new pages. And so this helps me, this creates a scenario where I'm in demand and my services are in demand, and I can continue to help develop things like that. Here's another one from another client that you can see that this is kind of an older style, and so they're wanting me to redevelop that. So that's a little bit of a tour of some of the projects that I have going on in my studio. Right here, these are orders that are on their way out the door. They have to be shipped out today, and I'm going to get back onto this piece here and see if I can't get this finished up here in the next day or so. Let me just turn this around. I hope you enjoyed this tour of my studio. A lot going on. I know the studio is small. That's the whole space right there. And right behind me, that's the couch where I crash out when I get tired. So anyway, I hope this finds you well. I hope this video helps you get some insight and some ideas. And leave me a comment. Let me know if you got some ideas, or if you have questions, or you hate my work or you love my work or whatever it is, subscribe to my page, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.